Hello. 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 Right. Okay. It looks like I'm live. This is nothing too special, and I doubt anyone is going to attend, especially since my friend Andres Kaiju Noir, sorry, I keep using the people's real names, is busy with his work at in Japan. Also, Brayton has started college again. All the best to him. So hopefully he doesn't deal with the college debt. And that's pretty much it. I am going to advertise this on my Facebook. So we'll see what happens. Also, forgive me for the pixelated look of this. I don't know what's going on. It looks a lot better on the private settings, but I'm looking at it on YouTube right now, and it looks utterly horrible. So yeah, I don't like this. You know, it's funny. I just discovered Google Hangouts like a year before they decided to end it completely. And I was really getting the hang of that, and then they decided to drop it and replace it with much more limited functions. So yeah, kind of sucks. My priority. Okay, so yeah, this is gonna be a very simple. I don't know how late I'm gonna be, and also I'm pretty tired too. So I got up. I'm not used to getting up early to be on a schedule, and it doesn't. I don't know. There's just so much to do. So yeah, but no. So far it looks like crap on YouTube. So I'm a little disappointed by that. If anyone shows up in the chat room, by all means, go ahead and join us tonight. Okay, I refreshed my freaking internet, and it looks good. Oh, there's a second person watching us. So yeah, by all means, go ahead and leave any questions. Go ahead and leave any or all questions if you'd like. I'll ignore the dumb ones mostly. Let's face it, this is kind of a silly thing I do. So yeah, because Google Hangouts got destroyed, it's a lot harder to bring in more than one person onto a live stream. And with that said, I don't want to risk bringing so many friends not being able to do anything. So, and if I sound a little off, that's because I kind of had a long day, and I figured might as well kind of end the day because I got some artwork I need to do. This is a t-shirt thing I'm doing for somebody else. I'm going to have to close it soon because I do not want, I don't know if, I'm not contractually obligated, ovulating, I'm not contractually obligated to keep anything secret, but at the same time, they may want to keep this as a surprise. So, but I'm just trying out some color stuff before I call it a night or something. So it's hard to tell what is what or which is which. So, but anyways, yeah, there's two watching right now. I think I'll make some kind of advertisement. And let me see, can I invite friends here? Because it looks like the new system has I've tried this before with that late night test or the last live stream, the last official live stream of consciousness, and I was unable to get anyone. They do have a handy button telling you who's watching, the participants, but that's pretty pathetic. That's like, how many people are outside this locked cage that you need to get out? It's like, well, can I have somebody actually come inside here and save me from locked cage? No, it's a new YouTube function. So I also think maybe it's very likely they got rid of Google Hangouts, not because the technology is out of date. Well, it probably is, but it was still fairly simplistic and easy to use. But also, I think it's also a way to make it harder for people to just do regular content with the level of ease they used to do on YouTube. Because let's face it, this whole enterprise called YouTube is starting to become more and more of just a free TV. I don't know. I'm not going to get into like any weird conspiracies or anything, but yeah, it really does get to the point where you can't do anything here without YouTube pushing you off the ladder, even when you bring your own ladder. So yeah, it's pretty terrible. Oh, I can share it on Facebook. That's fun. Okay. All right, better share this then. So, okay. Doing this live stream right now. Join me if you'd like. Oh, okay, I better copy these words. That's the great thing about copying text. You save time from having to rewrite it from scratch. All right. And I just posted something in defense of Lindsay Ellis against the alt-right. So it's likely I'm going to be attacked by Russian hackers any moment now. Well, of course, it's getting to the point where you can't even say Russia without some smartass. Like, for such a country that prides itself on, being scary and evil, they really do have really thin hides. It's ridiculous. It's like, come on, guys. How you... Oy, it's like the world's getting more Looney Tunes every day. Already it's like Russian ad, Russian ad, Russian ads. Oh my God. What have I done? Why? I was a fool. I'm sorry, great Kazir, or whoever's running Russia right now. I don't know. So yeah. But yeah, to the second person, you are welcome to add any questions. I will definitely look. Like, I don't care. Hopefully you're a decent person, or whoever's watching with me or hanging out. More power to you. But yeah, let's go over some of the other artworks I'm supposed to be doing right now. I wanted to do a bunch of stuff for Halloween, but I really doubt I'm going to be able to get everything I wanted to do. And especially since I got 2 commissions. I got a t-shirt thing that I'm doing right now for some friends. It's for charity work, so I'm not getting paid for it, but it's definitely a pro bono, unless I'm using terminology incorrectly. So I don't mind, and also it's kind of a trade-off for my friend Kaiju Noir being really, really decent at helping me get my airplane ticket and then giving me a discount for it. So yeah, more power to them. Random live stream. I'm making note of this on my DVR account. Happening now. Yes, like Ray Stantz from the Real Ghostbusters cartoons. I talk while I read, or write, or something. I don't know. So, and I can hear myself through the headphones, although I don't know if there's going to be a negative effect in doing so. So, I should make mention of this on my something. All right, but yeah, I don't know how late I'm going to be tonight. It's still fairly early. I'm surprised how shockingly early it is. I thought it was like well past 10 o'clock right now. So yeah, I should make mention of this on my main and show my Facebook page. So now, yeah, I doubt I'm going to get anybody to join me on this live chat. It's too late. I just decided to do this completely on the random, and that's it. So the screen went temporarily black. I don't know what's that about. That was spooky. All right, only one is watching right now. Uh-oh. I think the thing may have stopped. Okay, there may have been a stall in the stream. So sorry if everything went black there for a little while. Do I dare share this on Toku Legion? Nah, I'll keep it intimate. The last thing I need is for like Primal or Phoenix or something or other getting on here and whining about because he can't understand, you know, humor. Although, to be honest, I do have kind of an abrasive sense of humor, so I can't blame him too harshly. Plus, he's probably young. Like, I don't know. I don't like teenagers, but at the same time, they really can't help themselves, so I can't be too harsh on teenagers. So, all right. So, what am I working on right now? So, because it looks like the live stream on YouTube just froze up, that or I'm going to close up the live stream and just stick with, yeah, maybe that's why it's causing it to kind of freeze on my end. All right. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Hello? Hello? Hello, everyone. Okay, it's just me. All right. Okay, so I'm on the official live stream. There's still 2 people watching, apparently. And we'll see what happens here. So, yeah. Oh, that sucks. Every time I go to the other page, everything blackens out on the YouTube studio. So, yeah, I can't browse other websites without it instantly disappearing. I'm using a second computer independent from like right next to it over here, there is another computer where I do all my internet stuff, in which I'm doing the live stream on right now. What you're seeing right now is the computer that I use to do artwork on. So yeah, it kind of sucks that now, thanks to this, I can't do one without doing the other. So, and there's only one person left. I'm completely by myself, but we'll see what happens. So, all right, so there's Moose. Okay, so this is Moosra, a monster that someone based on Shin Godzilla or Shin Moosra. I don't know what the real Moose, if this is supposed to be the official Moosra or not. This is a part of the t-shirt design, but I got to redo this from scratch for various reasons. Largely because they can't afford multiple colors, as you see here with the addition of Draco Azul. So I'm going to have to kind of get rid of, simplify the colors on both of them. Draco Azul is expendable because this is the one they don't want, so I'm going to get rid of this layer. Be gone, miniature robot, be gone! Okay, so there's no more Draco Azul. There is, however, the original Moosra inks. So there you go. I had to go back and add the bottom legs because when you saw Draco, there was no way it worked out. At first, I was hoping to leave it blank and just have the robot cover up the flaws, but that wasn't working. Although the robot still being there, that I will eventually insert, still covers up the lack of a missing hand. And unfortunately, I'm not good at drawing hands, which if there was just a class working on how to draw hands, I'd be more than happy to do that. But that or my hands are like the worst to be a model for, especially since I'm kind of missing a couple of fingers there. Haha, joke, all by myself. All by myself. But I got the colors for Moosra already. But again, these colors are too complex, so I got to find some sort of happy medium to make the t-shirt design much more simple. So yeah, there's something that I got to do, at least this week, as a show of good faith. This cat girl here is surprisingly not one of my hentai-related characters. She is Kate Marnita. She was the star of a comic book series that I managed to get 5 issues fully inked and ready for. It was supposed to be a project I was supposed to do with my editor and former friend and partner, Mark Tucker. Unfortunately, he passed away, but not before succumbing to illnesses that made staying with him impossible. And it's a long story, but no one's here, and I doubt anyone's going to be watching this again in the first 14 minutes. But yeah, that partnership did not end well. And God, who cares? Most people don't know who I am, so I can get away with. I'm not going to share the story, but that's all I'm going to say, because he had many people who would have been happy to hear him die. And although that might say a lot about him as a character, trust me, these people were kind of scumbags. The kind of people that currently kind of rule the world right now. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can adjust my little web camera. Adjusty. Okay. Yeah, but Kate Marnita is one of the lead stars of the series that was called Fleabane Sisters. Although I really got to reconsider the title because Fleabane Sisters sounds a little too nasty and harsh. And originally, the comic was meant to be kind of about the origins of a pair of female supervillains who are sisters, who eventually become the kind of seductive, evil cat sisters you see a lot in fiction. Think the evil witch cats from Geek the Cat, or the Uma Puma sisters from Dominion Tank Police, and it was going to be my own version of it, except the story was going to be told completely from their point of view, and it was going to be their origin, starting out as kind of likable, sympathetic teenagers until they became like these kind of criminals in a fantasy world. But it was one of those stories where the narrative and characters grew a life of their own. Characters that were supposed to be turncoats or not survive past the first 2 issues suddenly became main characters, and Kate and Tabitha became way nicer. Although, as you can see, Tabitha still has a bit of an extreme mischief streak within her. So yeah, the idea is that this isn't really a sketch that's done on paper. It was a sketch done on paper, but when I scanned it, I gave it a kind of a clean look right here, and then I added my own paper pattern. I can't tell if this is an original paper pattern I created that I crumpled up a regular piece of paper, probably junk mail, to get, or if I just got this off online and altered it a little bit to be original. I hope it's the former, because last thing I need is people kind of like doing what they do to that one comic book artist whose artwork is just copied from magazines and obvious porno pictures, and it's I don't know. It's, if you ever seen the documentary about oh god, what's his name? I don't know, some boy band, a fairly recent one that became popular, the Jonas Brothers, I think, or not, I don't know. But there was a scene where they suddenly they transition becoming superheroes, and it's just it's a poorly photoshopped illustration of them. But yeah. Also, it's Monday night, so everyone's probably asleep right now, because Monday is usually the worst day getting back from the weekend. But whatever, I'm here for at least an hour. But yeah, Kate Marnita, the story of Fleabane Sisters is the story about these 2 anthropomorphic cat girls. I call them Nikojins, even knowing that I know Nikojins in Japanese pretty much refers to human-like characters with cat-like features, but are fairly human, not full-on anthropomorphic characters. But it was a nice term, and I thought, fuck it up, I'll use it. Why not? I'll put it or something later down the line. But for now, they're Nikojins, the Niran version of Nikojins. The story takes place in a world called Nira, which is kind of like Narnia in between its major biblical wars, is the best way I can describe it. In other words, a good mix of the pleasant and scary. Hey, little man. By the way, I also have a dog with me, so don't be surprised. Can anyone hear me right now? I highly doubt it, but let's double check. Well, that's weird. I thought I had my YouTube channel out in the open like that. Okay, so yeah, anthropomorphic cat girls are sisters, former slaves of a tyrannical village. They end up becoming free under less than ideal circumstances. Some sort of horrible villain attacked their village and proved to be an even worse villain than the villains that were holding them captured. They reunite with 2 of the more sympathetic members of the town who were secretly helping them best they could. It's a tyrannical village, so it's not easy for anybody to do anything without getting captured. My internet is slow tonight, so there's a very good chance that my entire internet is acting up, and I can't do anything right now. It's like, for example, I'm opening my Facebook pages and nothing's showing up. So it's taking forever. It's the blue ring of death as far as pages loading. Kate and Tabitha and the 2 sympathetic survivors of the village become a new Saracen family, and they go on adventures ranging from everyday life stuff to battles against sorcerers, ogres, monsters of that nature. So yeah, I'm very proud of this series. I think it has a lot of universal appeal, but in this age where things like Rick and Morty and what's another example? Rick and Morty and I don't know, Adventure Time. I guess the kids are still into the Adventure Time, right? That kind of stuff is extremely popular. I doubt something like Fleabane Sisters will work out. But then again, Steven Universe got strangely popular, so And there's a series that I'm surprised lasted more than 3 seasons, considering how Cartoon Network runs things. So yeah, she's one of the lead stars. She's kind of a hellion, and I did post just the basic sketch of her recently on DeviantArt. My plan was to do a colored version of the sketch to make it look like kind of like an old textbook talking about this character, but at this point she might have to be put on the back burner. Okay, I hear myself on YouTube, so I think everything's working out okay. But then again, I'm the only one watching myself. All by myself, all by myself, all by my. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, and obviously I'm not a good singer. So I think I will open. Last time when I did a basic test like this, I had Brayton Connor come and visit me on Skype. But like I said, he's currently dealing with college right now. He is also dealing with what is it? Oh, he's dealing with college right now. So he's probably asleep right now. And he's also dealing with, oh God, how getting the next episode of Mystery Science Theater ready. So care to chat on a impromptu. Oh, of course, Skype doesn't have a word check, so I could probably spelling out a live stream. Okay, I doubt I'm going to get anybody. Brayton's always a good guy to show up, but yeah. So yeah, I recently posted a sketch featuring Kate Marnita, and I'm going to read the little text I wrote for her because I'm running on fumes right now because today was a long day. Thankfully, I got plenty of sleep beforehand, so it's not like one of those times where when you get tired, your brain almost just wants to shut itself down. Apparently, your brain is kind of eating itself, but I don't know if that's literally or figuratively. I got to read that scientific article. But this is what I wrote about Kate Marnita. One of the things I wanted to post for the upcoming Halloween was more colored sketches connected to my Nira dwelling creations. But with more important projects I need to finish, I may have to push those entries back till December. However, one thing I wanted to share was a quick sketch of Kate Marnita, the redheaded older sister, by 30 minutes, to Tabitha Marnita. Whereas Tabitha is rather sweet, charming, effeminate, and bookwormish, Kate is virtually the polar opposite. Cynical, abrasive, tomboyish, tenacious by comparison. I'm going to have to get rid of abrasive. If anything, I think maybe a better term would be gruff, I think is a better term for Kate here, because if she's abrasive, that might make her a little unlikable. But gruff means, it's kind of like abrasive, but not as harsh. So, okay. Despite their differences, however, Kate and Tabitha still deeply love each other as both sisters and even more so as lifelong friends, often working together to help those in need and to fight the bad guys. Similar to Tabitha's rarely seen temper and brutality, Kate has a softer side that contradicts her usually seen personality, which includes being a hopeless romantic at heart. She likes the boys. Kind and caring to those she befriends, and has a beautiful singing voice, though that hidden talent is rarely displayed. I'll share more about Kate in the future uploads before year's end. So yeah, you'll probably see more of Kate before the year is over on my DeviantArt site. But as far as the Halloween upload goes, I might have to skip this one. So, okay, this was on by accident, but I better explain myself. This was supposed to be for my alternative DeviantArt site, Violent Vixen Pro, not to be mistaken with the DeviantArt account, Violent Vixen. I really have to change my name probably for his or her benefits. But this was Ivan the Incubus, who is a horny little incubus. He looks like a kid, but he's actually much older. He is fully adult. He just happens to be kind of the demon equivalent of like a short person. And he, he's a literal and figurative lady killer, and this is him about to enjoy his latest snack, some poor prostitute. And because nobody's watching, I can say that without feeling embarrassed right now. Oh, God. But anyways, this was going to be one of the Halloween pictures I want to do for my alternative site, but I'm going to skip it too because it's not that important. So, although I am considering getting a Patreon for my for my what is it? For my hentai related stuff. So at least I make some money off that, and plus it'd be a great way to get people to see the uncensored stuff without giving it to them for free on like say Twitter or Pixiv or something of that nature. This one I really want to finish for Halloween. This is my take on a ghoul. It's connected to the same written universe in which Kate and Tabitha are part of, the Fleabane Sisters thing. And this is my take on a ghoul. Now, originally, okay, before I explain, mythology is never constant at all. So if somebody tells you this is the way a vampire should be, this is the way a werewolf should be, this is the way a dragon should be. Yes, there are some common tropes in these various creatures that one must follow. A dragon is not a dragon if it's not a giant reptile that usually breathes fire. Whether it's a wingless creature or not, or a land dweller, that's one thing. But, giant reptile breathes fire. Usually those are the things you have to follow. But with that said, everything else is tertiary details that really don't matter. So yeah, I came to the conclusion, and especially thanks to a really awesome book my brothers gave me for Christmas, Carol Rose's Giants, Monsters, and Dragons, which is a very no-nonsense book about mythical monsters, and really made me come to the light to realize, yeah, this stuff isn't constant. There is no one version of any mythical creature. There's always multiple versions of said creatures. Because again, these are the things of mythology and folklore and fairy tales, and those things are not as set as stone as true literature, which is one of the reasons Beowulf is such a big deal, because it is true literature, and we saw the original story as it is, as opposed to something that's been changed over thousands of iterations. But yeah. That's what we're dealing with right now. So, okay, I'm asking someone else to join us. No problem if you cannot. Oh, okay. Yeah, but the thing is, the ghoul in the original Arab or Eastern mythologies was definitely more of a demonic creature. Oh, looks like I'm going to have good old Win come in tonight to join us for a little bit. So, okay. It will be for at least hold on. Sorry for the silence there, Ray. Just call me here by Skype. Really going old school on the methods. Do I have a Discord? I should have done this on Discord. Damn it, I feel like such an idiot. I'll tell Win that when she comes on. If she comes on. Okay, but yeah, in the original Eastern Arab mythologies, ghouls were basically kind of vampire demon creatures, or very vampire-like. Although vampire back then was almost kind of a catch-all term for all undead and vice versa. Ghoul, it was a similar case. Later, ghouls were just kind of less, just basically proto-vampires in some regards. H.P. Lovecraft attempted to make the ghouls a little more unique. He created these weird cannibalistic, or at least carrion-eating canine-like or canoid humanoids that are related to humans and not really related to humans. So my version of a ghoul kind of takes a little bits from every one of them, but mostly from the Lovecraft iteration. That's why there's sort of a canid type appearance to it. And these creatures definitely are more famous for being scavengers. They are definitely predatory. They definitely eat bones and leftover carrion. They're not exactly bad guys, however. I think it would be like if you had hyenas as neighbors. The creatures might get used to you, and they might tolerate you as you would tolerate them, and maybe they have no ill will against you. But if you provoke them, they will attack, and they are still unpredictable animals. So they might attack you just by accident, but they don't really mean evil or anything. And some ghouls do live in communities, although I might have to rethink that. I think I want to kind of keep the ghouls to be dangerous and just like on the outskirts of the various villages they live on. Like they're creatures that, maybe back in the Middle Ages there were much more terrifying things. But as it stands, I think I don't want to say they got domesticated. They're just more tolerable and easier to work with. But yeah, the problem with this illustration, though, is that I need something to quench my thirst. And since nobody's watching, I can afford to leave the camera for a little bit and make myself some lemonade. So I will be right back. I'm still here. Decided to just get myself some root beer. I shouldn't be drinking root beer, but what the heck. This is the worst live stream ever. I'm a-coming. I'm probably going to have to tell the ghoul story again for somebody's sake. Okay, ready-ish when you are. Okay. And here comes Win to join us tonight, so I'm not completely by myself and blabbering on. Hi, how you doing?
Hanging in, just kind of reading the lines one more time, because since I finally have a bit of time tomorrow, I'm going to go over them and start recording them then.
Okay, cool. But like I said,
I wanted to record them. I wanted to record some today, but I kind of slept my day off away.
Dear, when you have the day off, that's what I do. If I had a long week, I just go into my coma hibernation, and I mean my stress hibernation. I do well, so don't feel bad about it. It's like I just house sit. Sorry about that. We got the root beer hiccups. I just dog sitted for some people for the last week or so. So, and even though there was an internet there, I was pretty much stuck in the house and dealing with 7 animals.
Doggos.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot to clean up, though.
Not really. It's 2 little dogs, 5 cats. Unfortunately, 2 of the cats shouldn't be there. It's a long story, but yeah, it's one of those people who they have a nice condominium, and I think they decided to get too much animals for the condominium, and then somebody dumped some more animals on them. So it's like, even though it kind of sucks that our cats prefer to live outdoors, even though they do occasionally come inside every once in a while. This is a situation where the animals definitely don't leave the house except for the 2 little dogs, so I do have to walk. And I just realized how much I hate those leashes that, that's connected by a circular thing that, so you can walk both dogs at the same time. But at the
ones that extend?
Yes. And it's those cartoons where somebody's trying to walk 2 dogs and then they get wrapped up in the rope and almost fall to their doom.
Yeah, or just get dragged the minute they see cats and begin the chase.
That's what happened to me. It was especially on yeah, that happens so often. It's like, okay guys, enough of this, walk back inside. It's like, what is it? I tried taking them to the park fairly early on a Friday morning. Barely anyone was there. It was great. And this is up in Thousand Oaks. So it's a very interesting hiking area. And it's like, okay, dogs, let's run, right? And usually, if I'm just with like one dog, it's great. We can take a little jog across the grass. With the two dogs that went in opposite directions, what is it, dog? You have some opinions on this? So, thank you. That's thank you, Nippo, for always chiming in. Yeah. So they ran in the opposite direction, lifted the big old leash plastic thing into my forehead, hitting it. I bleeded a little bit. And
Oh,
yeah, it was that harsh. And it's like, okay, dogs, we're going home. You ruined your running rights for today. So, and then later that night, I tried doing it. I tried walking them out again, thinking it's Saturday night, everyone's out partying and all that. But it's like everybody and their mother was out walking their dogs in this condominium area. So I couldn't go one corner without a new dog showing up. And you're right, absolutely like a cartoon character. But instead of a cat, it was like every new dog every second. And it's like, okay, this walk ends. So thankfully, I waited till like 4:30 in the morning to take both dogs individually for like quick walks at night, and it worked out a lot better. But you know, uh, yes, dog, you don't like the dual leashes either, I guess. So
that or he's trying to warn you that someone had woken King Ghidorah from his slumber.
no, not. Are we still doing the danger noodle joke?
Yes.
Oh no, it's danger noodle.
Quick, somebody get Draco Azul.
But yeah, that's what kind of happened to me over the weekend. Now I'm back home and I just got a bunch of artwork. Okay.
I heard you.
Well, apparently we're doing okay. So I'm doing this really old school, with because had I known we could have done this on Discord, I would have gone with Discord instead of foolishly going old school and just having the speakers on while I'm talking to you on Skype.
Yeah, there's a streaming feature on Discord. You could always ask Andres later how it works. That's how MJ does the Sunday Night Live podcast now.
Okay, I think I will go with that option in the future, and instead of doing an impromptu live stream, I will definitely get multiple people on board, you included, of course.
Yay!
It will be the return of live stream of consciousness, and this time I'll have a shadow puppet show to open up every episode.
And of course, Navi is still being Navi.
Yeah, thankfully, like I know how funny Navi can get, but thankfully she doesn't bark like Nippo over here.
No, he just meows his opinions or decides to be a butthole and bite me when I'm petting him.
Oh, so how did you get Navi?
Oh, my sister-in-law, her neighbor's cat had come to her house, and the cat in question was pregnant at the time. As a thank you for finding the cat, the neighbor said that she could keep the litter. And my sister and I each got to pick one of the cats from the litter because she gave birth to 3. My sister-in-law kept the other orange tabby, whose name is Crackers. And then because of my sister-in-law's son, he named the black and white one that my sister had for a little bit, Little Satan, which shortly became Professor when he got into our possession. And then there was Cheese, who you now know as Navi.
Right. So isn't it always the way you start off with particular names for these cats and then you pick something else? Did you pick Navi because of how annoying the cat got?
Because he kept meowing nonstop, and I'm still thinking of a name. And at first, MJ had suggested Nutmeg because this was like a week or so before I got the little kitty. And my friend Mike, who was still living up here before he moved down from Santa Monica, from here to Santa Monica. Ow, Navi. He suggested Navi since he meowed a lot. Way Navi goes, "Hey, listen! Hey, hey, look! Watch out!"
Do 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 do.
Yeah, and it's been that name since, even after I found out that Navi was a boy.
Aw. Is that?
Sure, I could have changed it to Tattle, but he's kind of grown accustomed to Navi, so I didn't change it.
Yeah, yeah. That's another problem when you're trying to decide an animal's name. You shouldn't go overboard with changing it every once in a while. I love them, but my parents are infamous for that. I think we've already gone through like 3 names with some of the dogs. Like I don't know if it was I forgot. Oh, Simcoe. Originally, we're going to stick with his original name. Simcoe's the other dog we have, who isn't so talkative, isn't he, Nippo? Originally he was Chico because that was the original name he was given, and then we changed it to Black Beauty or something of that nature. I don't know why, but then it became Simca because Dad saw some car commercials he liked. So, but it's like if you do that, you just confuse the poor animal. It's like if you had a kid, something that I wish to do one day because I have pregnant fantasies. I'm joking.
I know, but still, the mental image is rather amusing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, your little talk about seahorses, it really inspired me, Win. Thank you so much for that.
God damn it! That was not supposed to be advice.
Like the newborn baby comes, was like, I'm dressed in a full blown seahorse costume. All right, now shove it down the costume. That made no sense whatsoever, did it?
No, but if that was shown and taken out of context, they would think you were trying to turn the little one into a furry. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with most of the furry community, because I actually know a couple people. They're kind of chill, kind of cool, stable, and have 9-to-5 jobs, but I can understand because of CSI and some of the more vocal extremes out there on the internet, they kind of have that negative stigma.
Yeah, I can't blame them. It's with like any fan community, there are plenty of off-putting weirdos, regardless if they're generally decent people or not. Case in point, me. But it's funny you should mention the infamous CSI episode. Because there was a short period of time around that time that episode came out where I actually submitted creature and character artwork to a fanzine, like one of the last major fanzines that existed here in Los Angeles, that was dedicated to the furry community. And it was just a good way to get my artwork out there and just, kind of also haphazardly copyright my characters without going through the whole copyright legal stuff. Because if you have it printed in a magazine type form throughout multiple people, and it's clearly obviously your creation with all the correct information, it's instantly copyrighted. So I'm not going to say which character showed up in that because lawsuit time, baby. But but the funny thing was, yeah, I submitted this. It was kind of an ill fit, however, because even though I make characters like Kate and Tabitha, Magical Frog Girl, I never really did like real anthropomorphic characters. But anyways, around the time I was doing this and having some success with it, and some of the magazines would actually be mailed directly to my house too, which would kind of scare the family a bit. The CSI episode came out, and I saw I think I watched like a good half an hour of it when it came out because it was one of those things where is it just me or every cop show when they decide to tackle a new fad or some sort of interesting lifestyle, regardless if it's something like of choking yourself to get off, or something incredibly wholesome like apple picking festivals, they always have to portray it in today our heroes, intelligent people from Earth, go to this nutty planet of lost in space visits. It's like because the police officers are always cool and in charge. They're always they're treated like the most serious and normal characters. And the characters they interact with at these festivals or whatever are treated as really terrible. Well, first off, they get really terrible character actors to play them. And then secondly, is always portrayed as what is this bizarre thing? What is this weird thing that the non-detectives are dealing with? So it's almost like a less a more subtle version of a Lost in Space episode where the Robinson family, this like toast white suburban family in space, meets these wacky aliens. Except back then, the guest stars were actually good character actors and comedians. But yeah, it's like I'm watching this and it's like, oh my god, they like, yes, a lot of this does happen in the furry community, and there's been some documentaries online that, you know, details with how bad it is. But I've never been to a furry convention. I've never dressed up as a sexy cat girl and tried to, you know, woo the gentleman. So I've thought about it, but no, I didn't. And yeah, and I did.
They're all not that way.
Yeah.
But I think it's just to sensationalize it for TV, and
Yeah.
the fact that a lot of the writers, they kind of just half-ass their research. I'm looking at you, Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Oh.
If you're gonna do a thing about gamers and video games, do your fucking research, assholes.
Thank you. You put my words in better focus than however I could say it. So, but yeah, exactly. There was like some. Oh yeah, and the furry orgies, or just people dressed in their costumes and touching each other funny in rooms and all that. Of course, we know that kind of stuff does happen because it's like the Down the Rabbit Hole episode about that furry convention. So,
yeah, but it's very, very rare. If anything, most people are just kind of socializing, trading artwork. At least from what some friends had told me. And occasionally they'll go to some fun panels involving their favorite artists, or in one case, one YouTuber I got into under a recommendation from a friend who wasn't a furry, to the Ranting Griffin.
Oh, nice. Sorry.
You're good.
Root beer burps. So, now about this magical device called Discord. I can start a live stream from Discord and have it show up on YouTube, or do I need to connect my YouTube to Discord?
I think you have to connect the YouTube to Discord. I can't remember, but as I said, you could ask Andres later.
Okay, so yeah. All right, but at least I got you around, so it's not me completely talking to myself about my imaginary characters. And hold on, let's see how the live stream's doing, because this is just this is a test live stream, and so far there's only one person watching us, and it's not you or me, so there's somebody there. Yeah, so we got to crack this mystery wide open. I'll interrogate all my neighbors, you interrogate your neighbors, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle of America.
Well, it's good that the test stream is going well so far.
Yeah, the only problem is I can't get other people on board, which is why you're talking through the speakers. And I just got I'm using the web camera here. But I'll talk to Andres, because the thing about Google Hangouts that I really like that me and Brayton did with the two schmucks talk about Godzilla, was that we were able to have the slideshow happen while we were talking. And I thought that would be great. I would just get a folder filled with a bunch of my random illustrations or just random pictures in general, and just have it play as I'm talking to my various friends, as opposed to just a black screen or little icons at the bottom. Right now,
Discord.
Yeah, exactly. If I can do that, then yeah, Live Stream of Consciousness will return with a vengeance. Or I'll just do a series of like two schmucks talk about insert subject here. So yeah, but no, I'm looking over all these pictures I want to do for the upcoming Halloween, because I really wanted to upload a bunch of stuff on Halloween Eve and Halloween itself. But as it stands, I got the title card I need to do for Andres, so I've already penciled out a bunch of demons. I'm not gonna say what the theme is, but it's demon related. And so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be on the back burner basically, but I got so much artwork in storage too. It's like, for example, like I know the actor who played Lord Zed passed this year, and I thought it'd be cool to finally do a colored illustration based on these inks I did a long time ago. But that can wait till Christmas, and so yeah. And this is Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. I was thinking of finally taking these cleaned up inks and coloring them. I also have a Jack Skeleton that coincides with this, but nah. Great thing about Nightmare Before Christmas, you can wait for Christmas too.
Yep, since it's Halloween and Christmas in one.
Exactly. So maybe I'll surprise everybody and just do it as a Thanksgiving live stream. So I was going to take the Sandra Alucard picture and enlarge it and like do two separate portraits with like proper digital inks. That's going to take a while. So be gone, Sandra. All right. I was gonna color these weird homunculus ninja creatures called slicksters. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. This was my take on the Loch Ness monster, based on the obscure myth of the Lady in the Loch, who was basically a giantess who drowned in the loch, and what we're seeing is not a plesiosaur, but sort of a giant ghost. So I guess you would also transform into a ghostly plesiosaur, but yeah, this is not going to happen. So much artwork that won't be done, and it's like, yeah, I have like roughly 2 weeks before Halloween comes, but at the same time, I got to start prioritizing, if you know what I mean. I know I said that word wrong, but
you're good.
Thank you. And this was
I still need to catch up for the Glue podcast, like I said.
Yeah. Don't worry about that, because the original plan was I wanted to do the Glue podcast for Halloween. But Brayton got busy with both college and the Mystery Science Theater episode, which is finally coming out sometime this week. If not, definitely for Halloween itself. And I think I might end up saving it for Christmas. If not, it's gonna be the big project for April Fools. So, like we did, kind of like what we did with Awful Man, what I did with the Dirty McCruption. No, Dirty McCruption was for something happened on April Fool's.
But, yeah, because Waffle Man premiered on my birthday, October 9th.
Oh, nice. And also belated happy birthday.
Yes, I am now an old lady of 34.
Oh, dear. As speaking as a man of 36,000, let me warn you about the crickets, the rickets, and all the other horrible things that are to wait. So, but yeah, no. But other joking aside about our advanced age and that we're gonna crumble to dust any moment now, that's just 30 humor. So.
Yeah, I know we're actually young, but a lot of the youngins on YouTube are probably decrepit and old and yelling at clouds and telling them to get off our fucking lawn.
Right. Sadly, I think me and my brother Miguel were actually talking about that last week, that despite the fact that we're Generation Xers and we're born in the early 80s, we are getting to that point where we don't understand what the new kids are into. And it's like we walk by teenagers who are acting unruly, and instead of going back with like some nostalgia, like, to be young again, we'd be like, oh, thank God I'm not a teenager. So, but yeah, we are getting to the point, especially Miguel. He's like, I think he's finally found the look he's happy with, old sea captain with big bushy beard. So it's like, have you seen the trailer for that movie called The Lighthouse? Yeah, that's Miguel playing both roles.
Oh, bye.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, so I just got yeah, we're getting old. So, but anyways, this was a sketch I did, my take on the Wasp Woman, which is a lesser known monster from the 1950s. If I have time, I might still do this, just do some digital inks and a quick coloring on it. But yeah, she's gone, so be gone. So, what is this? Tron without Tron. Oh, this is a picture of Draco Azul that I'm supposed to be doing for a t-shirt, but this is a little too complex, so I got to simplify the coloring. Did Nabby attack you?
Oh, no, I hit the share screen button on accident. At least it lets you know, are you sure that you want to screen? Because if I had shared screens, the masses would have seen me royally sucking at a...
Uh-oh. Hold on. We lost you for a moment. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, darn. Yeah, I think, okay, what a wonderful time to do a live stream, ladies and gentlemen, because my internet's not working and Skype suddenly decides to be a butt. Okay. I'll just call win again. So professional. so professional.
What happened?
I think my internet conked out for a moment. So yeah, I'm doing a test live stream while my internet's being a butt. So, but don't worry, I got the cameras all focused on my ARC computer. So if any weird thing you're doing on your end wasn't seen,
Like hit the share screen button, so people would have just pretty much watching me running around like a crazy person in World of Warcraft Classic.
okay, I thought it was like running like a crazy person around the room. You can speak very well while running around the room. Points. But anyways, yeah, and this is the Draco Azul picture. I know you're looking at video game stuff. I'm just saying stuff for the audience right now, but.
Okay, because I was going to say I don't see it popping up on Skype because I did Alt-Tab for a moment.
Oh, yeah. No, this is, okay. Maybe I can share screen and, oh, wait, no, that's what got, oh, darn it. No. This is what, oh, darn it. Are you still there?
Yeah, here, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you. No, me trying to share screen is what got me booted off, so I think that's one of the reasons. Like my computer can't handle all these commands happening, especially with the live streaming going on. So yeah, don't worry. Play your video games. I'll just go through these dumb artwork. We're good. So did you say World of Warcraft, or you're doing some other video game?
Oh, I'm playing WoW right now because I was helping some friends out in game. Mm-hmm. I might log on to Final Fantasy 14 later because that's more my MMO of choice. I don't mind Blizzard games despite everything going on, but that's another subject for another time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in terms of MMOs, Final Fantasy 14 is currently my favorite, especially since the devs at Square Enix have just knocked it out of the park with the expansion Shadowbringers.
Okay. What is the Shadowbringers expansion all about?
Let's see. Your character is pulled into a kind of alternate dimension known as the First.
Okay.
And you're pretty much trying to restore the order there. It's the best way I can convey it in words without being spoilery, but there's really good story in each zone. The places you go are beautiful, especially the areas with the Fae. Mm-hmm. And there are so many characters and good character development that it just hits you in the fucking feels button.
Nice. So now I guess in alternate universes and dimensions are a thing that happens in WoW or World of Warcraft often. Because aren't the
actually only once through the Warlords of Draenor expansion. Okay. Right now it's kind of back in Azeroth with Battle for Azeroth and BlizzCon. If that doesn't turn into a disaster, chances are we're probably going to hear about the next expansion for that because the 8.3 patch is coming out soon, and that's dealing with some stuff involving the old gods, since the devs at Blizzards, the old school ones, kind of were inspired by a mix of Warhammer, D&D, and H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, nice. So has there been Lovecrafting? Because I know in D&D, they introduced semi-Lovecraftian creatures, especially with a race of octopus-headed alien beings.
Yeah, the faceless ones, they're Lovecraftian inspired, mm-hmm. along with the old gods. Because one of the raid bosses coming up is N'Zoth for this expansion, but we've fought other old gods like Yasiraj, Cthulhu, who is obviously inspired by the name Cthulhu. Mm-hmm. It's still a fun game if you can kind of take your mind off of controversies, which is what I try to do, because it kind of sucks what's going on, but I kind of try to push forward and see the good, because there's a shit ton of bad going on in the world, and if we get mad for every little bad thing in the world, nothing's going to get done, you know?
Yeah, and it does suck that there is so much that easily get angry about. But as long as we remain decent people and don't allow too much villainy to get away scot free, I think we'll be okay. But we'll see what happens. It's like what is it? They say the world isn't as scary as they say it is, but they'll continue to make it look scarier than it actually is. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's there is not everything's as black and white as people make. There's always that gray area. And hopefully it'll kind of continue to stay morally gray.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see more good in the world, but at the same time, there always must be a balance. Because you lean towards one extreme, it's not going to be good regardless of what extreme it leans to.
Screw that! I want an absolute executive power to start shooting like energy bolts from my fingers. Power! Star Wars reference. That I put on the Darth Maul horns or something. But with that said, though, I really do hope the good people of Hong Kong make this out okay, and that I can. Yeah, it's like that's a scary situation if you live there right now, and I just hope they make it out okay one way or another. But
yeah, that's the thing. What's going on there is extremely horrible, and I really do hope that things turn out all right as well. At the same time, it's better to kind of try to do reform with your government than take it out on a game company, because it's corporate law that tells these companies, no matter what industry they're in, that their number one priority are their shareholders. So it's not like anything that happens is normally out of malice. It's more they're abiding by corporate law. Even if you disagree with it, you kind of have to comply.
Right. Oh. It's all wacky. It's like
the only way we'd get changes here to prevent any future fiascos of similarity, the best thing to do would be to push for corporate law reform.
Oh, I hope that's the case. Like I hate to say it, a lot of that stuff is like over my head. Like I just know the stupid artwork monster crap.
Yeah, enough gloomy politics. We get enough of that on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, it's like usually that kind of stuff does interest me, but right now it's like I'm not activating on fumes, but I've had a long day too and a long weekend dealing with like multiple animals. All I do is I take care of animals. So Nippo, are you gonna say anything? Oh, you're asleep. Okay.
And I have Navi asleep on my hand.
While you're, at least it's not the hand that you're trying to do the artwork. Does she do that thing where if you're on the computer, she'll go and sleep on your keyboard?
Not keyboard, my hands.
Oh my goodness.
So right now she's sleeping on the hand that's on the keyboard. That's kind of making me go straight. Where Semi on the other, he has his butt, but I can still at least move the mouse to turn properly. Which is why I'm running around. I would be fighting things, but I kind of can't because I need my keyboard hand to hit the keybinds while turning with my mouse.
Oh my goodness. So it's like the cat has trapped your hands.
Yes.
My first cat, Nikki, she used to do that thing where whenever I got on the computer to do something, she would instantly come and want to lay on top of the keyboards. And it's like, girl, come on. I do this for a living to buy you cat food, right? I wonder if cats, I know they're animals, so they probably don't know any better, but I wonder if cats do honestly know if they're annoying you out of purpose or if they're just like, why aren't you paying attention to me? This is utterly unnatural, you not paying attention to me. Here, let me help you rectify that. There, I'm here.
Seeing as they're independent creatures, there is a study that came out a little while back that the brain of a cat is not too far from that of a human's. It's pretty similar, according to the study.
Interesting.
So they probably know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're just very, very attention hungry and independent fuzzballs, which I held no ill will against Navi, even though he can be a poophead, because at the end of the day, he's my little fuzzball, he's my buddy, and I'm still gonna spoil him rotten.
Mm. How can you not? I love cats and dogs equally, but yeah, there's something about the independence of cats make them a lot less stress-heavy pets, whereas dogs, it's oh god, like our little screamer here. Yeah, oh god, he is fully asleep. I have not used to. Is he breathing? Okay, he's breathing. There's a good chance that Nippo actually might be deaf.
You could always have that checked at the vet. Lord knows I still need to make an appointment for Navi for his neutering.
Oh.
I've been procrastinating on that.
Okay. How long has he gone without the neutering?
He turned 2 last month, so I think it'll still be okay.
Okay. All right.
Especially since the procedures for a neutering isn't as dangerous as a spaying.
Yeah. Spaying are the most scary ones. So, do they? Okay, I know they do this for dogs when they get spayed. They put the cone around their heads. Sometimes same thing as neutering, but do they do that for cats too, or there's just no way in hell a cat's going to be wearing a cone?
Cats get shamed too, so they don't try to scratch and pick at their wounds in question or lick at them.
Right. Go ahead and say it. They're dinglings.
Well, I didn't want you to get demonetized. But then again, I dropped a few F-bombs, so yeah. There goes that.
you said fudge and frump horse. Frump. The worst words in the dictionary.
And fluffernutter.
No, not fluffernutter. That's the language that got Eddie Murphy arrested back in '83.
And didn't the thought police nearly arrest Andres because he said nickels on the first stream of consciousness?
Oh yeah, it was more terrifying than the time Brayton got captured by the Dream Police.
Oh god, what did he do to warrant the Dream Police?
I don't know, but they were inside his head, coming after him in his bed. I can't think of the rest of the song lyrics. Oh, wait a minute, I got the internet right here.
I was going to say, was there an invisible man sleeping in his bed?
Probably.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters. Anyways, yeah, no, the situation with Brayton, here we go, was that the Dream Police, they came from because they lived inside his head. And they came to him in his bed. They're coming to arrest him, and he was like, "Oh no!" And even knowing he knows that talk is cheap and that rumors ain't nice, when he falls asleep, he sometimes thinks he won't survive the night, because the Dream Police are waiting for him, looking at him every single night. They're driving him insane. When those men inside his brain, the Dream Police.
Oh god.
And then it just repeats itself. So I had to. That's like it used to be one of my favorite songs. Is I discovered Cheap Trick's extended library, and it's like, oh, there's more fun stuff to deal with. But thank you for joining me at this short notice. Like I said, I don't think we're going to be on for too long, especially since there is nobody in the chat area. Monday's probably like the worst day to do a live stream, isn't it?
It really depends.
Okay. Yeah. So, do you have tomorrow off, or are you going to be going to work in the morning?
I have work in the morning, but I normally, if cleanup isn't too terrible, I normally get home shortly after closing, depending if I have a ride home at the time.
Okay. Oh, so you're doing the night shift?
No, not night shift. Morning, because it's a cafe that's open for breakfast and lunch.
Oh, okay. We used to have a burger place by us, the Four Brothers, before it closed down and got replaced by a chicken place. That was one of those things where it's open in the morning, open for lunch, but it closes as early as 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and of course, there's like tons of really cool Asian restaurants in Los Angeles that are open for lunch but close down. Well, they're open briefly for like the brunch area, but then they close down for the rest of the day until like late in the afternoon for dinner or some stuff like
Yeah.
that. So now,
Yeah, I used to live near a little hole in the wall that did that, Taro's Sushi in Clover City.
oh, nice.
It had really amazing sushi and tempura. I I could sing the praise of that place. Yoshi made the best spicy tuna rolls, but it got replaced with a different sushi bar because he had retired. So him and his wife retired, closed up shop, and moved to where they kind of can live comfortably.
Okay, good for them. Good for them. So although no, oh man, I could really go. I gotta go to a sushi place soon. It's like the dog that I'm sitting for my brother and his wife Krista, my sister-in-law, Xena. She's a giant husky dog, and she recently got spayed, so she's wearing a cone around her head, and she needs somebody to take care of her while everyone's away at work. That's my job right now. But no, it's like where they live in Gardena. It's just 2 blocks away from this Japanese grocery store called Tokyo Main and Central. And they got tons of sushi at better pricing than they do at the grocery store. So what I get myself is the Fotomudo rolls, which are these huge rice rolls with vegetables and what is it? The term is when you let food soak in a liquid to get flavor.
Marinade?
Marinated, yes, marinated tofu. With and sometimes with a little bit of unagi or eel meat inside, and they're just gorgeous. And I get them for $6. But if you get no, actually there's some for $5. And if you get 2 of them, then that meal just fills you great, and it's fantastic too. And they got tons of other sushi at very affordable prices, as opposed to say regular grocery stores where get one California roll for $12. But
oh yeah,
but no, Tokyo Main and Central is great, and there's this other wonderful buffet place called Number One Buffet. It's mostly Chinese food, but they got tons of like California rolls for like all you can eat for like $10. And I've told Miguel that if he ever decides to do like a movie night, I would definitely go try to see if the buffet place will let me take a box home, and then we'll dine on sushi all day. But yeah, sushi is great, isn't it?
oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, why is it so good?
Well, it has very different flavors, textures put together that works really, really well. And if done right, it's probably one of the better foods in existence, next to maybe seafood pasta.
Oh, seafood pasta. I had octopus ramen. That's not the same as seafood pasta. Never mind. So
Yeah, I was gonna say one's Italian, one's Japanese.
yes,
But that does sound delectable, especially since I've had octopus before through the means of takoyaki, and it's
nice.
really delicious.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, and when squid and octopus is cooked right, it's like a soft, crunchy meat candy is the best way I can describe it. That sounds completely unappetizing, but it's Reese's Pieces made of pork meat. Little dogs love the taste of Reese's Pieces pork.
Ooh. Tonight.
Yeah, he woke up with a vengeance. What is it, little man? You okay? Yeah, he does that. He periodically just screams on top of his young lungs. But yeah, it's like that sushi place we went to in when I met you at the Anime Expo like 2 years ago. Do you think that was kind of overpriced sushi, or you think it was okay for what it was?
It was okay for what it was because it was in a big part of downtown LA. It had a pretty nice medium to high scale atmosphere. And honestly, I've seen places that are far more expensive. Plus, we did get one of the cheaper sushis. We got yellowtail and California rolls.
Yeah, okay. All right. So it's just, yeah, it's like, what is it? A friend I made recently, Larry Korch, who's better known as No Backstreet Boys on DeviantArt. He does these beautiful digital Godzilla pictures. He introduced me to this, like there are tons of great Asian restaurants across Pasadena, and he took me, Matt Frank, the famous Godzilla author, and my friend Mark Rivers, a YouTuber and artist in his own right, to this really great restaurant that had every meal on the menu were obscure Asian meals you couldn't get mostly at most other places. I think I ended up going with I don't know, but they went with like Malaysian ramen, and it was like really delicious. And we had like great bean dip that we put like fruit in, and it was oh god, it was great. It's like if you ever come back to California, let me know. Maybe we'll make a trip there.
Well, I do live in California. It's Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area probably, because I live 3 hours away from LA. I live in Riverside County.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am terrible at my terminology.
No worries. We all have our brain farts, and you did say you were pretty bushed.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, but then again, I always have that problem just not talking well. Like I can write beautifully, I can't talk well. So words are hard to say.
No worries. You're talking to someone who tends to have quite the number of brain fade. I'll go to say one thing. In my head, it sounds perfect, but the minute it comes out of my mouth, it turns into word vomit.
I think I've had, I never heard that terminology before, but I think especially me, it's like, oh, that's the word I want to use in this conversation. And like 2 minutes later, oh man, I totally forgot that word. It's at the tip of my tongue. So that's like one of the most annoying things ever. And that happens almost every time I'm on like one of Andres' live streams.
But, yeah, and 2 hours later it comes to, and you're all,
why? I blame the Dream Police. They're coming to arrest me. Oh no. Because they're waiting for me, looking for me every single night. They're driving me insane, those men inside my brain. Sorry. 1 time's enough. 2 times is pushing it.
And 3rd time's a spanking.
Me reciting the lyrics of Dream Police, that's a pretty cheap trick, don't you think? I had to. So, but anyways, no, thanks for joining me. I think we'll end this conversation fairly soon. It's like, how long has this live stream gone on? 1 hour and 17 minutes, and no one showed up. So, okay. Yeah. I think I'll definitely end this test live stream. But no, next time I'll talk to Andres and get the Discord thing going on. About the Glue podcast, though, yeah, I do want to start working on that before the year is over. So I think we're looking at like maybe Thanksgiving or December. But as far as it being fully completed and put online, I don't know when that's going to be. But I definitely want to do it at least at the very latest July 1st. And me and Brayton were talking about it. We do want to do a live read where we can get all the actors bouncing off each other. But it would also be a good idea to do like individual readings recorded separately, so we can switch in different lines that we like or not, or deliveries, I should say.
Oh yeah, that definitely sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll start recording a small portion of the lines tomorrow. Wednesday's my next day off, so I can record the rest then, send it to you, and maybe we can get it up a little quicker.
Yeah. So it's like I'm also going to do a bunch of artwork for it, but I'm going to try to limit myself and not go overboard. With that said, I do want to kind of pick your brains on a question. As you know, and nobody's watching, so spoilers ahoy. Detective Dirty McCruption makes his appearance at the end and tries to arrest the members of Glue. Would it be funnier if it's just artwork of Detective Dirty McCruption, or still photograph cutting back and forth with the Glue characters like we did with the Waffle Man? Or would it be funnier that he's in full-on live action interacting with these still limited animated characters?
We can try it with the drawings first, see how that goes. And since the Glue podcast may be kind of an episodic thing, we can probably try the live action footage another time. That way we can figure out, do people like the kind of semi-animatics, or do they kind of like a mix of live action and animatics a la Freakazoid?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be hilarious. Like we just sneak in stock footage every once in a while. So
All because we love to say hug bees.
hug bees, hug bees, hug bees. This episode is getting too intense. I think we will use Relaxovision.
Scream. Oh God, I scared my cat.
Oh, I think you scared my. I know my dog might be deaf, but I think the vibrations woke him up and he jumped in my arms.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Who are you talking to, the cat or me? Or both?
Both.
Okay.
I feel bad that I scared your doggo, and I still feel bad I scared my cat. He was asleep on my arm, and he jumped off my desk.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I was kind of doing it mildly, so I wouldn't bust any speakers.
Okay. That's another problem of having you on the speakers. You make scary sound effects and they break. My speakers are on fire.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I'm joking, of course. So
I'd be worried if your speakers were actually on fire. I'd say cut the stream and call the freaking fire department.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, I just I'd be like,
especially given our fire track record in this state.
oh my goodness, you're not anywhere. Just out of curiosity, you're not anywhere near like a fire heavy area.
Not that I know of so far. We kind of got quite a bit of moisture over the winter, so far not too bad. And anything that did happen was contained pretty quickly.
Okay, all right. I'm happy to hear that because I'm still kind of upset about what happened to a friend's house about a year ago that was up in the Canyon Valley fire. And he had this wonderful house out of the way, and it just got completely destroyed. And sadly, because his house was put on the yo-yo list, which is the fire department way of saying you're on your own, hence the term yo-yo. So on the bright side, whenever we get like telemarketers who say they want to, they want us to donate to the firemen's ball or something of that nature, we go like, well, we lost a house thanks to your yo-yo policy, and they just immediately hung up. So that was a sad story to end the night on. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I just hope that your friend is doing a lot better since then.
He's doing well, but he's still optimistic he can get like a replacement house, and he still owns the property. But yeah, it was a wonderfully gorgeous house. It's like, had the fire not happened, that would have been the house I would have recommended Miguel and Krista to have their honeymoon, because it's upstate. It's by the Shasta Mountains. It's a great quiet house. It's by it used to be by a stream with a really awesome bridge. So like this bridge was like 30 to 50 feet long. It was one of the coolest things ever. So.
Oh, if he has really good homeowners insurance, they should be able to cover it, given it was a disaster that wasn't of his own doing.
Yeah, I'll ask him about that. I'm going to be seeing this friend sometime next week. So, but yeah, it was a gorgeous house. When it's like, oh man, I miss that house. I had some good times just because me and my dad would go upstate with this friend, and we'd do construction work for him too. So, man, this is a sad way to end this podcast. Oh man, how can I sing more Cheap Trick? No, I read all the lyrics. Damn it. Okay, but no, I look forward to doing the Glue podcast, and I think your friend will be a good replacement for Jake Tanaka. So once we get him on board, because I don't know how Gabe is handling himself these days. So
yeah, and if Kendall for some reason can't do it, I did meet someone playing WoW that joined my guild that had some voice experience. He did a couple of Star Wars Galaxies machinima, who might be able to do a couple of voices. He's older than both of us, so he can join the Grumpy Old People Club.
That's good to hear. So do they know that this is kind of just a free, silly project from the mind of Rob?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's like, Raph, who
Yeah,
the
they're
hell
not.
is that?
They're not. I was gonna say I don't think they're expecting payment because I did convey when I first ran it by Kindle that it's kind of a free project because that's most of the stuff I've done so far. If I ever get a paying gig, that'll be neat. But in the meantime, I'm having a blast with these free projects, so I can't complain.
Yeah, and plus, who knows? It might lead to something great. It's like Brayton, he does a lot of voice works, and then it's like one day he was asked to actually do a Doctor Who voice, and he got paid $100 for it. So maybe it'll lead to something nice. So
Oh yeah. Plus, as I said, the projects are fun, and it is at least some good practice to keep me from getting too lazy with my voice.
right. And again, I know you've heard this a billion times, but thank you so much for being Boo. Without your help, that Waffle Man would have been disturbing.
I'm just glad that my voice was considered adequate. I was kind of worried. Oh God, did I do a shitty job? Are they thinking? Oh God, I know they said they were an amateur, but not this level of an amateur.
No, like I honestly have no criticisms whatsoever. You were perfect for it. I'm not just saying that because we're desperate at the 11th hour. It's like, oh my God, we're gonna find an actress for Boo. But it's like what I love is you added so much adorability to Boo, so much so that she feels too good for the members of Glue. And that's probably the joke right there. She used to be a superhero and then became a supervillain, but not like a dramatic Shakespearean sort of way. Just like, I'm going to try new job options.
Yeah, because the guy I'm working with to fight crime is a major butthole.
And it's like, and I am tempted to do more if this Glue podcast works out. I do want to do more because I'm already thinking like plot lines in my head. I know the second one we're going to have a recurring gag where it's like it's a call-in show, and every time somebody calls in, it's like a famous supervillain, but we like blur their eyeballs out and like bleep out their names because of copyright reasons. So it's like,
oh God, that'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives us a chance to do like various supervillain voices and all that. And I know it was going to end with like Poison Ivy calls us. Of course, we can't say her name. So and then we just berate her because earlier in the show, it's like apparently a bunch of plant-based monsters are suing her for mistreatment on the job. And it's like we have a whole rant about how much Poison Ivy, despite saying that she is a friend of the plants, is really the crappiest friend plants ever had. She is to plant life is what the freedom fighters were to Lawrence of Arabia. And then after we get a couple of phone calls, both pleasant and unpleasant, from various other supervillains, she calls in and she berates us, and it gets into a whole argument. And then it's like, how dare you? I'm going to send forth my army of Triffids after you. The Triffids are these killer flower monsters from British literature, quite famous. They invade the Glue studio, but then the Triffids start talking. It's like, we're free. She hurt us in ways we would not imagine. Here on the flower pot, where did the mean lady touch you? And then it cuts the credits.
It's okay. You can work with us. Everyone here is pretty chill. Well, except for Jake, I'm a little whiny bitch. Not with Jake. Jack, I'm a whiny little bitch Hoxton. They both start with J, so I had a bit of a brain fart there. It's like, okay. Wait, I meant Jack Coxon. Jake Tanaka's her sweet taboo.
Yeah, it's okay. I get that. I regret calling him Jake and Jack Hoxton, but it's too late to change it now.
True. But it's good regardless. It's like you would have that kind of situation, and I really, really look forward to it, especially if we do make it a more frequent and episodic thing. It would give me more chances at the mic, just to kind of practice and go nuts and have fun, and you get to kind of get your projects on the floor. It's just an all around treat.
Right, absolutely, and plus, there's at least 4 characters in Glue you can voice. So,
woo!
Yeah.
Well, 2 so far. The other 2 I'll have to look at, practice, and run by you because,
right,
you know me, I'm my own worst critic. So I'm always worried that it either doesn't sound good enough or it sounds samey.
Oh, you are wonderful at what you do. Again, you added so much personality to Boo, as well as deliberately keeping her adorable. It's like I think that character has really become one of my favorites. And before, she was just like a good side character as far as I was concerned. But it's like if anyone has the bad voice acting, it's me as Jack Hodgson. It's I can do Dirty McCruption okay, but Jack Hodgson, I think I just get on to people's. I just come off. I don't know if it's because the character's so abrasive or it's just the way I deliver. I'm like, yeah.
It works though. You actually do a pretty decent job.
Thank you. Although it's like every time I watch that Waffle Man, it's like there's some apprehensiveness going on with Jack Hodgson's character. But when I do the Glue podcast, it's going to be like, that's like, yes, it's me, you dickweeds.
But again, it works. And at the same time, I actually ran the Waffle Man video by the fellow old fogey who we call Badger. And when my guild leader was being a smartass when we're running some dungeons in the retail version of WoW, rather than the classic servers, he was all careful or she'll get mad enough to send you to either Croatia or St. Louis. He loved it.
That fills me with such joy that my little creation got referenced in a group chat.
Yeah, if I ever get a chance, I'd try to link it. Not necessarily to plug my work, because my work was only a small contribution. I just wanted a really hilarious radio play to get spread, because you kind of deserve it. You busted your ass on that thing.
Thank you.
And Brayton busted his ass on the voice acting.
Yeah, no, it's like we all did very good. I'm still proud of that immensely. I'm kind of sad to get more of a response.
Well, it is YouTube. The smaller content creators just have to unfortunately work a little harder.
Yeah, but hopefully when we do the next Glue podcast and with the success we have with Mystery Science Theater, we'll definitely get a little more traction this time. But yeah, if we'll do this Glue podcast and see where it goes from there. But yeah, I know the second episode, the main gag is going to be a bunch of call-in callers, so that gives us all a chance to do various voices of different characters. I think by the third episode, the members of Glue do a podcast that ends so disastrously that the leaders of Glue break in and forces the head representative and Queen Nalina, the overly promiscuous, they break in and then force Jack, Slimeball, Jake, and Boo to watch a film about manners. And it ends on a big Mystery Science Theater spoof where you just see the silhouettes. It's like, all right, now watch this documentary about manners and don't shut up. We'll talk whenever we want. And it just becomes a Mystery Science Theater gag for the remainder of the episode.
Oh, look at me. When in doubt, pinky out. I'm so prim and proper.
I don't know what Jack would say. It's like, try to save face, pinky's up. That's what Mo and Curly and Larry did. But yeah,
move it to the side and have a cigar in your hand and you'll scratch your marks.
Damn right. You bet your life on it. Okay, but yeah, if you come up with any funny episode ideas, let me know. I'll be happy to incorporate it. And play around with the dialogue if you do your recording, because I know it's not even though I give that script like a good 4 run throughs, I know it's not perfect, and my dialogue is not the best in the world. So.
No worries, and it's good, especially since the formatting actually shows up really, really well professionally on Google Docs. Because I've read a few scripts before, and where on some programs it'll be okay on the PDF, I go to open something up on Google Docs like that, and the formatting will be all over the place, so I'll be reading the wrong goddamn lines.
Oh.
It's like, shit! I have to start all over again! For a more kaiju noise, apologies for your ears.
Oh. You got Nippo's intention.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. But no, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully hopefully the new Mystery Science Theater episode we made comes out next week too, because I can't wait to share that with everybody, you included.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Okay, so with that says, we've been going on for an hour and a half. I think it's time to kill this thing.
All right, I believe we've talked the ears off of the masses long enough just this time. And when we return with Live Stream of Consciousness, we'll have actual current events to report and various different monster movie references and scenarios that we dream up out of our own brains.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was gonna end this test live stream by basically saying the lyrics from Ballroom Blitz, but to my mistake, from the band Sweet and not Cheap Trick. So this won't work.
Whoops.
Oh well. So, anyways, are you ready, Win?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So, thanks to no one who's joined us tonight. But big thanks to anybody who watches later on, and thank you very much, Win, for joining me on this fun little chat. So,
and in advance, I apologize to anyone who watches later and for their ears for what I just committed.
Okay, so all right, early happy Halloween, and oh, since Andres is doing his Halloween live stream, are you going to join in on that like you did last time, or you don't know?
Any big plans and can make it home in time? Hell yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'll probably see you in like less than 2 weeks from now.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
Okay, so good night, everyone, and thanks for joining me, Win.
Good night, everybody.